everybody, it's Allie here, the Circle Guru on Stamp Nation. I just thought I would do an extra little video this month regarding our Let's Talk sketches. This is sketch number 2 of my series, and I thought I would actually go through the process of how to make a one-layer card using our sketch. But I'm going to throw a little curveball at you this time. We're actually going to make this sketch into a circular card. So here's how I want you to kind of see it the way I've seen this sketch this time. Because we're not taking the traditional rectangle or square card as the sketch is shown, we're actually going to look at it in this respect. We're going to kind of take a focal snapshot of kind of what we see within that card. So obviously we still have the same design. You can see an oval shape here, a banner underneath, a panel, and a strip of paper. So the sketch basically stays the same, but our outside shape is going to change. So let's take that, and these are some of the things that I'm going to use today to show you how to make the one layer card. A ruler. I use Copic multi-liners because I'm going to color with Copics. You need a pencil and your trusty dusty post-it. Okay, so I've already started the base. It is hinged at the top to create a top folding card, and then we have our white Express It cardstock that's actually going to go on top, and that's where the basis of our card sketch is going to go. So let's set this aside, and we'll tack this down to make it a little easier to work on. So first of all, we're actually going to work on getting our basic sketch built into our card shape. So we're going to basically transfer this information over here using our pencil and our ruler. And of course, it doesn't have to be exact, but I mean, we can get the gist of it. So for instance, I'm going to take this line here, and I am going to put it right about here. Not worrying about the pencil, because that's what erasers are for, right? And let's pencil this little band of paper in as well. So we'll go a little bit more towards the bottom. And I think we'll go right about there. Thank goodness for our trusty little grid lines here. And I'm actually going to shrink it down a little bit here. I'm actually going to just take my lines right across for the time being. So there's our little panel. There's that panel. And let's see, let's put our banner piece in here as well, and I'm going to make that maybe a little bit bigger. So let's do there and there. And once again, all of our pencil lines are basically, they're just our guidelines to get us started. I'm actually going to use them with the post-it notes as our guidelines. So I think what we'll do here is I'm going to first, we're going to mask off this area, because this is the area I want to work on first, because that's where we're going to put our main focal area. So using those guidelines, which we will eventually come back and cover with our Copic multi-liner. This is a 0.3, so I've masked that off. Now, this banner I want to mask off, but I don't want to mask off this little piece of the circle. So I've got to get inventive, and that's where, haha, our trusty ruler comes in. Now you could measure it and cut your piece of paper, and you know what, let's do that. I think it's about ½ an inch, perfect. So I'm just taking the sticky part of my post-it. We'll put it in my trimmer. Give a good slice. You can still use that piece. It's still got a sticky aspect to it. And we're going to literally lay it right across. And this is where you have to get inventive as to how you mask things off and get creative. Alright, so let's start by stamping our focal image here. This stamp set is from Orchids Rock by Power Poppy. I want the curve to match the curve, so I'm actually going to treat it up for this particular orchid stamp here. And I'm always changing up my mind when I go to design a card. I mean, I may have a basic idea, but it doesn't always work out to be that way. So I'm just positioning it where I get the maximum of my image. And of course, it matches kind of the curvature of the circle, which is what I was going for. So this one works a little better. And there we go. So there's the beginning of your first layer. Okay, and don't throw these away because you can use these again, especially if you have to go in and say airbrush the background and things like that. So I mean, I could even match up the stamp here. Okay. And I think what we'll do is we'll go and we'll create our background for this space. So we're going to go back. I'm going to pull my sketch in here. So we're going to create like this quote-unquote piece of paper in behind this image here. And so we'll just reuse this little fella because he's the perfect width. So there's at least that side. Now we've got this piece where we can, again, we've cut this, we might as well use it again. Same width. There we go, and I think we'll mask this off as well. And I believe this is 3/4 of an inch. So use your trusty dusty trimmer again. Oops, and I just lost my cutting blade right out of there. Okay. Alright. So there's that banner piece in the sketch that we're masking off. So we're creating the background again. So see, wherever the paper shows through, that's where our color is going to show. So I think we'll just airbrush it. So give those I think we'll maybe make a color gradient up. Add a little bit more blue undertone. Really hard to see. There we go. So let's remove our masks now. Oh, win it. Haha, look at that. You know what? It's not a big deal. Didn't even look at the sketch. Okay. So it's starting to take place here. So let's go in with our, I'm going to actually, because we actually have lines from all of our masking, I'm actually going to go in and erase any of those lines showing now. And we're going to go over those pieces our Copic. Now you could leave it without, and that would be fine too. Let's do this one first. It'll give us an endpoint for the rest of our lines here. So there, we've created our panels. Right. So let's see. Maybe we'll go in and we'll go back to this image here and do our background. So we need our long mask. This is why I buy a variety of different sizes of post-it notes. And you know what? Dollar store? Haha, perfect. Okay. So because I'm going to color these rather richly, and we're just going to do a really subtle background, I'm not going to even bother masking. I'm just ever so slightly touching that trigger, like super lightly. And see how this image doesn't connect? It's alright, we can go back with that same Copic multi-liner and fix that. Just basically redraw. That's the beauty of this process. You know, you don't have to stamp it super perfectly. And I think, again, I'm going to do a little bit of a slight gradient here. It's actually a yellowy orange, creating somewhat of a green, but that's okay. That's kind of cool. Let's just do a light base coat. It doesn't have to be even, that's what makes it fun, right? And let's put on a stencil. As you can tell, this is well loved. I'm going to do it on an angle. I'm not going to actually do it straight on. Just gives a little bit more interest. So I think let's intensify that yellow a bit. So I haven't even taped down the stencil. Just good old get your hands dirty. Don't forget that little piece at the bottom because it's still sticking out too, right? So just ever so subtle. I think I'm going to actually take that same blue again. And I'm just going to so again, you're going to get a green hue, but that's okay. So it all matches, and it's just ever so slightly up, pointed that way. So we can remove our masks again and see what, this is the fun part because you get to reveal something new every time. I mean, how cool is that, right? So, let's think about this. Maybe we'll go back to our purples again. So we'll mask off the top. And we'll mask off that bottom piece. And you could color it, but since we have the airbrush out, let's go back to let's make that a little richer. Let's go for our BB2. It's darker at the edges and not so dark in the center. we'll just go and start